Welcome to Subramani. It is very important to understand many things while investing. One is understanding what are your goals, because if your goal is immediate, it has to be in less fluctuating assets. It is also very important to understand asset allocation, and third thing to understand is taxation. Not too many people understand clubbing, not too many people understand that how to avoid clubbing, and sometimes it is beneficial to have clubbing, right? All those things. Now, one important thing about taxation is there is something called multi-asset funds. Now, when SEBI said there is something called multi-asset funds, and multi-asset funds, as the name suggests, could invest in multiple assets. So, you could invest in equity, you could invest in debt, you could invest in foreign equity, you could invest in gold, you could invest in silver, right? So, there is nothing to say rates could not be included. So, multi-assets and multi-asset funds are growing. Multi-asset funds are growing at a good pace, and multi-asset funds are very popular for many people. That is becoming the core, saying this my core will be a multi-asset fund, and the other equity and debt could be my peripheral fund. So multi-asset funds growth is happening, and it's very important to know the taxation aspects of this. In April 2023, the government of India made some changes in taxation of mutual funds. Earlier, mutual funds were classified as equity and non-equity. Equity was taxed at say 10% long-term capital gain, and the debt portion was taxed as a non-equity portion was taxed as 20% tax with indexation. So that it was very clear. Now a further subcategory has been created. 0 to 35% in equity is now treated as current income. So if you have invested in a fund which is a debt fund, or which is a fund which has got less than 35% in equity, the income from that, whenever you sell, will be added to your regular income and taxed accordingly. So even if you have held for a very long period, 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter, you will be taxed, it will be taxed as current income. That's not very great, but from a fact that the tax can be deferred. So if you have a 50-year-old or a 52-year-old, you can defer your tax by 10 years, or if you're a 35-year-old, you can still defer it by 25 years by saying, okay, instead of paying current tax, I will pay the same tax after 20 years or 25 years. Let's see what happens then, because I can control how much I want to withdraw. That is one category. The second category is 35% in equity and up to 65%. This category gets taxed at 20% plus indexation, and those funds which are above 65% or 65% and above in Indian equities. Please remember, it is Indian equities. So a fund with 36% in Indian equities and 36% in foreign equities does not classify as an equity fund. You have to have 35% in Indian equities, 35 plus in Indian equities to qualify there. So now we have three categories. Now, why am I talking about multi-asset funds? Because multi-asset funds today, all the three categories exist. So if your MFD or RIA does not understand the difference, then there's a chance that you will make a mistake. Many multi-asset funds, like for example the Franklin multi-asset fund was launched as a fund of funds. This is one of the worst ways of being taxed, because any current income from there will be taxed as will be added to your current income. So you will not get capital gains, no indexation, no concessional rate, etc. So if you are on the 30% plus 30% surcharge, then you get taxed at those rates, right? That you have to worry about. So which are first of all, what are multi-asset funds that you understand? So the question is, depending on the amount of assets that they have in Indian equities, there are funds which have between 35 to 65% in Indian equities. So they are Motilal Oswal is there. There is I think DSP is also there. DSP also has 35% in Indian equities. So these will be taxed as the old debt fund, which means 20% tax with indexation. Then the others, most of the others, which are the big ones like the ICICI and HDFC, etc., are in the 65% plus equity, right? So they will be taxed as equity funds. please remember, I think ICICI was being taxed as an with under 65% in equity, but now they changed. Now they are treated as equity funds. So I think HDFC, ICICI, Nippon, and even Tata are all in that category. Then there is this third category where anything that you do, where all the income will get added to your current income. So that includes I think Aditya Birla, Franklin Templeton, ICICI also has an asset allocator, HDFC has an asset allocator. So you have to understand between a HDFC multi-asset and an HDFC asset allocator. There's a difference. Between an ICICI multi-asset and ICICI asset allocator is a difference, because the FOF, the income from the FOF is treated as current income. So you need to know all this before you invest, because very good chance that your MFD may not know this, right? So this video I'm making after interacting with some MFDs who did not know this difference, and therefore this is a warning. So when you're investing, you need to know your goals, you need to know what is the comfort of your asset allocation, and investing in funds which are taxed beneficially, right? So if you want to invest 100 rupees and you think you have to put 60% in equity and 40% in debt, you're much better off putting it in a fund which has got, say, 65% in equity and 35% in debt, because the debt portion becomes taxable at 10%. However, if you want to withdraw after 6, 7 years, 8 years, I think the break even is 5, 6 years, then it makes sense to invest in a multi-asset fund like DSP, because there the taxation will be 20% plus indexation, which even at 7% inflation could be better than a 10% direct taxation, long-term capital gains in equity treatment like HDFC or ICICI. It is for you to take the call, it is for you to understand, because not too many MFDs will make out this distinction, and afterwards you are stuck with a bad product, and when you withdraw you pay just too much of tax. So if you know that you are not going to withdraw during your employment terms and during your employment days, and you know that you are going to withdraw after you retire, and your retirement, in post-retirement your income will fall dramatically, it may not be a bad idea to invest in the fund of fund multi-asset funds, right? But if you're not sure about that, then you are but you're sure that you're going to withdraw after 5, 6 years, then you're better off being treated like a debt fund, 20% plus indexation. But if you're going to withdraw in, say, 4 years, you will have to hold it at least for 1 year to qualify as an equity fund. After, if you're going to withdraw immediately, then it makes sense to go for an equity based or a 65% equity wala multi-asset fund. So remember all this, understand all this. I'm sure you will find enough stuff on the net. Benchmark it, read it, watch this video again, share it with your chartered accountant, share it with your MFD. You may be missing something. If you miss out on if you are in the wrong fund, you may get good returns, but you may pay so much more in tax that it may not be worthwhile. Thank you.